If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Definitely Trump.
And why so? Why do you support Trump?
Well, my views primarily are like conservative. I've been registered as a conservative since I can remember because I have a cousin and he's a delegate and he's conservative in my where I am. And then the older I got, I just realized my views are more conservative. So I just felt like they put Kamala in there without a primary, and she was just kind of like a pawn in a big scheme. So, and I of course support like the deportation of immigrants, of course. Not all of them, but some of them.
Okay. I have a few things to say about this. What I would say for like the Kamala Harris getting into the candidacy without a quote unquote primary, I would say that everyone knew when voting in the primary that Harris was the vice president. This was already known because she was the vice president through the
Of
incumbency.
course.
So when we voted for Biden, we knew that if Biden ever stepped down because of his age, because we knew he was old, that likely the vice president would step up. I mean, that's the process we have in the context of the executive. So we just respected that process because also 80% of the Democratic Party is satisfied with was satisfied with Kamala Harris being the nominee according to an AP poll. Plus, no other members in the party decided to run against her. So that was specifically like what the Democratic Party was practically like
Did
universally
they have
on
the
board
chance
with.
to like move it to run against her?
Yeah, they had the chance, but they
When? Where?
probably wouldn't have.
Where was that published? Like
Well,
I'm
prior to the
asking that
DNC.
genuinely.
Well, prior to the DNC, we had a convention. The convention's not necessarily a like it's not like a the parties don't have to abide by a certain democratic process, but they did abide by the process that is established through our democracy of vice president stepping up when president stepped down. And again, anyone could have ran against her. No one decided to. You would think Newsom would be like the first person to run in that scenario, right? He's talked
Yeah,
about publicly about
you
the fact
think.
that he immediately endorsed Kamala Harris. Immediately was getting calls to endorse Kamala Harris. Wasn't even thinking about running himself. If genuinely, right, members in Congress were in a position where they thought that running was a good idea for themselves, they would have done so.
Do you think that Governor Newsom is going to run in the next debate or the next like
Yeah, definitely.
candidate?
Yeah.
And would you support him?
Over Republicans, but I definitely prefer or progressive candidates in the Democratic Party.
I think that's probably like what a lot of Republicans feel right now. Like they're going to support that primary candidate, but like that doesn't mean that they like agree with everything that they do. And Governor Newsom is like just like Kamala.
Kamala.
Kamala, I'm
What?
sorry, I
Okay, and
apologize.
okay, it's fine. So like the point that I would get here is that like it seems like we followed the process that would be necessary. Donald Trump, you know that he actively undermined our like democracy.
In what way?
He actively called for not only the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, but he also
Wait, can you slow
undermined the
down, please? I'm
integrity.
sorry.
Yeah, he called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. And then he also,
All of
uh,
them?
yeah, and then he also
Every
called,
single one, because
yeah,
because my job is to go through some of these, so I can't imagine
well,
any
he said,
president having that kind of like authority over that. That's crazy.
yeah. Well, I mean, uh, do you think that if Donald Trump were to go on True Social and claim that maybe Democrats engaged in behaviors that are punishable by, do you think that you'd still support him?
That's a good question. I guess it would depend on the behaviors, but I typically don't lean towards the death penalty. It would have to be like horrific for me to
Yeah,
ever
like let me just
sign
tell
up
you,
for that.
like Democratic veterans in Congress like urged service members to refuse unspecified unlawful orders.
Say that again. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
like if Democratic veterans in Congress urged, service members to refuse unspecified unlawful orders.
But like, what does it mean?
Yeah, like if there's an unspecified and unlawful order that they should just refuse to follow with them.
But
Okay,
like,
which is actually
what would that
upholding
order
their oath
be?
to the Constitution.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
crazy. I
All
would not. I
so
would
by the
not
way,
support that.
yeah. So if Donald Trump claimed that because they did that, those Democratic veterans in Congress did that, that they have done something called seditious behavior, and that's punishable by. Do you think that you'd still support him?
I would never support something like that.
Okay, well, he
But
literally just did that. Now we're going Truth Social. I'm not joking.
that's
I'm
crazy.
looking at
No,
it
I
right
believe
now.
you.
He
But
said
it doesn't
seditious
mean
behavior punishable by.
that is disgusting. But with that being said, I will say I think one of the big problems in America is that I feel like a majority of us are like we just want people being out of the Sorry, I'm echoing every time I talk, so sorry if I'm like going over my words. But I think the majority of us just want the best for the American people, and then we put these people into power, and then they do something like that. That's horrific. I did not know that. I do not support that. I'm not with that. But that does not mean, in the same breath, I can say that does not mean that I want a puppet like Kamala.
Kamala. But like, wouldn't Kamala
Kamala, I'm
Harris be
sorry.
preferable to this?
No, no,
How?
because she.
What
Oh
is
my
that
gosh,
thought
because
process? What is that thought process?
that thought
You
process.
genuinely think that Kamala Harris would have been posting on her social media accounts that certain Republicans in
No,
Congress,
I think
because
Kamala. I think
they told people not to uphold lawful orders, would literally call for them to be. You think that Kamala
I
Harris would do
think that
that?
she would be doing the worst things without putting it on social media. That's
Okay,
what I
okay.
think.
So what do you think she would have done that's at all comparable to this?
Benghazi, like I
What?
think.
That was, you're talking about Hillary Clinton, not Kamala Harris.
What do you think? But you think that she wouldn't have just been going along with like the status quo?
Well, yeah, you could say that she went along with the status quo, but I think this is actively worse than the
She
status quo.
could.
Like, genuinely, if you think about it, this is actively worse than the status quo. Like, was
What do you,
Biden
what,
doing this? Could you imagine Joe Biden
Biden
doing
wasn't
this?
even doing anything. He didn't do
No,
anything. He
no,
was having
genuinely,
people
is it possible for you to imagine Joe Biden doing this? And don't say that he wasn't doing anything. That's ridiculous. Genuinely, he absolutely was able to like do things under his administration. Near the end of his administration, and he had a harder ability in terms of communicating that for various reasons. But that doesn't mean that you can just take out like literally the entirety of his administration, right? You understand that he didn't do this in office, okay? You have to acknowledge that he did not call for Republicans in Congress to get the penalty. Biden never did that. I don't remember Biden doing that. I don't remember Obama doing that. Hell, I
feel
don't
like
even
I
remember.
need to, like,
I don't remember.
write
I
down
don't
what you're
remember
saying.
Bush doing that. I don't remember Bush doing that.
Bush.
Do
Bush
you
was
remember?
the worst.
Do you remember?
And he was a
Wait,
Republican. What do you mean?
Wait, no. Did Bush
We all watched
even?
Building 7 go down.
Did even Bush? Bush is a horrible person. But did
Horrible.
he? Listen, can I please finish? Did he even
course.
call for Democrats to be?
No, of course not.
So like,
It's pretty dark.
we can keep going back. Like, is this the status quo? Is it the status quo to like literally talk about your political opponents?
Of course not. It should not be. But do you feel like that? Like,
So then why do you support him? Why do you support him over the status quo? How about that?
I support the Republican Party. I want to. Like I'm there, but like also I feel like every like
Are there
election
any
that comes up,
Republicans
it's
outside
like,
of Trump? How about this? Are there any Republicans outside of Trump?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then why don't you support them? Why don't you
I
stop supporting
do.
Trump and start supporting them?
Well, I do, but
You just
but
said if you could go back in time, you would vote for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Okay.
Yeah, because
Just think about
she's
this.
she's not a Republican, and if I were to say no, you'd be like, oh, you got to go,
Wait,
right?
Wait, if you specifically were to admit the truth that you would vote for Kamala Harris in that scenario, me kicking off
I wouldn't.
alive
I wouldn't. If I could,
is a good thing.
If you would like to
That's
go back in time, I wouldn't support for either. But it definitely would not be
okay.
her. And
Okay.
and I don't know about him
Okay.
because he had. Because you know what I think. I think
I'm sorry.
the
At
MAGA
this point,
base,
why wouldn't you vote against this? Why wouldn't you vote? You understand that it's going to be either.
I wouldn't vote at all because I don't think Kamala was better. And I know. And I'm sorry,
Kamala was
but
definitely better. Kamala, you can't indicate how she was worse.
How would she be better?
How would she be better? Because of the
Yes.
fact that she wouldn't be on Truth Social, literally talking about her political opponents. Hell, that wouldn't even be something that she even thought about. She wasn't held civilly liable as a woman. She didn't incite a violent insurrection of the Capitol and pardon violent rioters police officers and called them
Oh, please. Oh
patriots.
my God, that's so
She
annoying. I
wasn't
hate
considered.
that's like the
Listen,
worst thing.
listen.
Okay.
She wasn't considered the worst person to a child. Epstein, who said that he knew a bunch of bad people, but he didn't know anyone as bad as Trump.
Who said that?
Epstein.
Oh my God! But that was probably during when he was running. I cannot sign off on all of that, and we'll wait to see if the files ever come out, but they probably won't. Let's be honest.
I mean, it's going to come out in the next 30 days.
Unless the DOJ, Trump's own administration, blocks it, right?
So
Because they do have the power.
there's specifications on what they can and cannot redact in the context of the bill.
What can't they redact?
So they can't. I mean, I have to go through the whole list of things, right? But essentially, like if you're even alleged of specifically having a connection with Epstein, right? Nothing about your name, especially if you're associated with the government, right? Could be or if you were associated with the government or in the government in a government position, then your name cannot be redacted. And things about you cannot be redacted. So the specific name or the stuff within it, the bill says this. Now, could they violate the law?
The DOJ can't do that?
Could the DOJ engage in an unlawful determination or something like that? Possibly. It's possible that they couldn't follow the law. I haven't seen anything that would say that they necessarily have no capacity to not follow the law. Like it is possible for them to do that, but I would say it's also possible for them to follow the law in this circumstance. It is possible, of course. I don't know what's going to happen, actually. I genuinely don't know.
Do you feel like the deep state is a big problem in our government, whether it's Republican or Democrat? Do you feel like that's a big issue?
Do I think the deep state isn't it? I don't know what you mean by the deep state.
And
I think we need to clarify that.
There is corruption in our government. We all know that, correct?
What can you just tell me what is the deep state? Corruption is Trump.
Corruption is
Trump literally is
Nancy
probably
Pelosi doing the
can you name a more corrupt presidential candidate in the modern era other than Trump?
I don't think he's corrupt.
You don't think he's corrupt? So do you think that Kamala Harris is more corrupt than Donald Trump?
I think Kamala. God, I'm so sorry. I keep impronouncing her name, but
just say Harris.
Harris. I think that Harris is a much more I don't think that she earned her way to where she is.
Okay, what makes you think that?
I think that she was hired as a DEI person, agent. Is it not?
No.
I know you're rolling your eyes or whatever you're doing, but
no. So the idea that you have that she's unqualified to be in the position is ridiculous. She's one of the most qualified candidates to ever run, right? She's been in so many different.
What do you mean?
Yeah, she is one of the most qualified candidates to run. It's actually embarrassing because Trump is literally not qualified at all. In what way? Well,
I would agree with that. I would agree with that part too. But neither
Kamala Harris was a prosecutor, an attorney general, a district attorney. She specifically was also a senator. She was vice president, right? I mean, those are all things that are relevant. Or not district attorney, attorney general, sorry.
Yeah, well, obviously there's rumors about how she got to half of those positions, and I won't
Oh, okay, so
don't her for that.
I mean, who's Bubba?
Who?
Who's Bubba?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, I'm just asking you. Who do you think Bubba is?
I have no idea. That sounds.
If you want to talk about rumors,
my son's
wait, hold up. If you want to talk about rumors, who's Bubba? Is it Bill or the horse? Which one?
What? I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
You need to look at the Epstein emails that just came out, man.
Well,
it was talking about how he was Bubba, and
that's really gross.
Yeah, Trump Bubba, and we're trying to figure out.
Fact, right?
Well, I just want to let you know, Bubba specifically is the name for Bill Clinton, and it's also the name of Maxwell's horse. So I would love to know which one it is.
And you take it that as fact?
Wait. You just said that you base what you have, your position here on rumors. I gave you the exact same thing. Wait, hold up. I gave you the exact same thing, and now you're not accepting them. Now it's an issue. Which, by the way, there's more basis and evidence to believe that Trump Bubba than anything that you'd bring up about Kamala Harris. So, I mean, it sounds like Donald Trump, under your perspective, is way to the top, right?
I don't think so. I don't think he did that. I think he had a lot of money and he was able to campaign that way. I think that's very different than Epstein or Bubba or whoever.
Whoa, dude, I don't know why you added an Epstein in this there as well. That's crazy, bro. You're making up
I
whole
felt
new
it.
rumors.
Well, I don't know. I don't think, I think that both parties are pretty corrupt. And I think as the American people that, I think that MAGA in general, that we like voted for Trump for transparency. And that's not what
Yeah,
we're
you got
getting.
the complete opposite of transparency. You
We
expected
did.
transparency from a guy held civilly liable to him and who pardoned violent rioters, who police officers and called them patriots, from a
You can
guy who
make fun of
specifically was
that, but there's
convicted of
like, but
34
there's
felonies,
72.
from a guy that specifically lied about the election results in 2020 for the past few years with absolutely no evidence, right? Who literally, this guy is not transparent at all. He cheated on every single one of his wives. He had 30,000 confirmed lies in his first administration or misleading statements. That was Donald Trump. The fact that you thought that guy was going to be a genuine, well-meaning, transparent guy is actually insane to me.
But yet there's like 70 whatever million people who also believe the same thing. So you can make
Yeah,
fun
that's
of that
insane.
and you
Yes,
it really
that's
is.
why I do this. That's why I do what I do. If there weren't 70
But I
million people
also
who did
think
that,
that
I
people
wouldn't do
I
this.
I think that there was a part of America that genuinely was like desperate for that. We just genuinely believed that okay, a person is going to go into office and they're not going to get all these donors to like give them all this money, which we all know that that's not true now. Like we genuinely wanted that so deeply for our country, and that's not what happened. So I think that like
He didn't want anything so deeply. He was just a liar and a con man. Like
no,
genuinely, he
I'm
bought
saying
the
that people who
con.
voted for him. I think the people who
Yeah.
voted
People
for
who
him
voted for him got
were desperate
conned.
for that, and no one thought that Harris was going to get that. And let's be honest, she
Why? Why do you
freaking
think
wouldn't
that?
have.
In every
Because
single
what
attribute that Kamala
Democrat
Harris has, that she's
president?
wait, hold up, listen. In every attribute Kamala Harris has, she is literally preferable to Trump. I don't think there's a single attribute you could point to that would indicate that
Transparency. Let's
Donald
start with
Trump.
that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Name one way that you think that Kamala Harris is less transparent than Donald Trump. And it
No, no,
can't
no.
just be one thing that you think that she said that was a lie. It has to be a categorization of a documented history of lying
No,
perpetually.
you said that Harris would be more transparent and better in every other department than
Yeah.
Donald Trump. He's been a teeny bit more transparent in some
No,
categories. So,
no, he has not. That is such a lie.
but I'm saying, so what category do you think that Harris would have been more transparent in? Because I highly
Within
doubt that.
every
That's crazy.
category, with literally
Okay,
every
so let's start with
category.
this transparency.
Donald
What would
Trump
she
is
have
a
been more
pathological
transparent with?
liar. He is not. He literally
No,
said that he was
we're
going
not
to.
talking about Trump. We're talking
He
about
said he was
Harris.
going to reduce grocery and gas prices. He said that he was
Yeah, my
going
gas
to.
prices are definitely lower. Are
Your gas
yours?
prices are more expensive since Trump got in office. If you want to look at
No, they're
grocery
not.
prices, they're more
No, they're not.
expensive.
They're under
Yes,
three
they are.
dollars. And
If
I
you
live
look
in
at
Maryland, one of the most expensive
Okay,
states.
I understand. If you look at the Energy Information Administration, it actually is up since Trump got in office. That's one thing. Two, as it relates to
Who?
this.
Like I don't even know.
Hold on.
I don't know what that is, but I know when I go to the gas station, my prices are lower.
Okay. Well,
Yours are
again,
not?
it's there's always Trump supporters that come up on the live that say that they live in these special areas that have absolutely no inflation. Apparently, it is absolutely higher
That's
from a
not what I
national
said.
perspective. Again, if that weren't the case, I would change my perspective. But that's what the data indicates. But again, like the point that I'm making is that Donald Trump was saying that tariffs reduce prices. That's not how they work. They literally put upward pressure on prices. It's literally impossible for them to reduce prices while simultaneously causing an increase in domestic production. That is literally impossible.
Do you know what the GFOA is?
That's a trade agreement, yeah, right?
No, it's not. It's a government financial organization.
Oh, then I don't know. Sorry, I apologize.
Okay, so I work for a county, and I went to a conference recently where they were talking about the tariffs, and they were saying that even though there's all this rhetoric out there saying that's going to really hurt us, I think that it's going to hurt some states and not others. So while I'm not, I feel like if we're getting tariffs, if we're being tariffed on other countries, then yeah, we should tariff them back if it's not going to hurt us. So
It
like
does.
I know you're saying
Do you know what a
that.
tariff is? And also, like, they have
Of
not
course
placed
I
tariffs
do.
on us that we
Don't
placed on
I
them.
literally work in finance. Like don't insult me like that.
That's
Of
not an
course I know
insult.
what
I'm
a
just
tariff is.
asking if you know what it is. And by the way, that's a
Okay, do
totally
you?
yes, I know what it is. That's a
Okay,
totally
that's good.
genuine question, as I have people come up on my live all the time that don't know what it is. Would you like to explain what a
Okay,
tariff is for people in the live who do not know?
go ahead.
I'm asking you. Would you like to do it?
A tariff is like a tax that we're going to put on other countries for their imports.
And who pays that tax?
The other countries.
No. So it's actually paid by the American importing business, and it's passed down to the consumer mostly. The foreign country is not paying the tariff. That's just not true. Why did you feel insulted? Like if someone asked you what a tariff was when you genuinely didn't know what it
Well,
was?
because I watched a lot of your videos, and I feel like you've like kind of you'll ask questions to people come on, and then when they get it wrong, and then you just I don't know, I guess I just feel like you feel very like high and mighty when you can just like prove somebody wrong about something. Is that wrong?
Yeah, I feel like Superman right now.
Great. I'm so glad. Um,
No, like
well,
genuinely, like all I was trying to do is establish in the conversation that it seems like Trump supporters typically don't know what a tariff is, and it's important to know what a tariff is because Donald Trump has lied to you. I don't even think it's necessarily your fault. It's Donald Trump lying to you, saying that the foreign country is paying the tariff. That's another one of his lies. So if you want to talk about being transparent, you literally were guilty, or not guilty, you were literally a victim of Donald Trump's misinformation and con job.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I've been taking a little bit of notes during this because there's a couple of things that I'm going to go back and look into because I don't know everything. Obviously, none of us do. But do you not feel like if we're being tariffed on another country that we should not tariff? Well, I guess if it's like going to come down to the American taxpayer, then of course like a lot of Americans wouldn't like that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Americans are not going to like an increase in their consumer products. Americans are not going to like a worse off labor market. Americans are not going to be enjoying the fact that export industries are absolutely destroyed. Like, think about this. I grew
So
up
do
in
you feel
Iowa.
like zero tariffs?
What's that?
Do you feel like zero tariffs are the way to continue?
Well, I believe some targeted tariffs are okay, but like I'm referencing the fact that there are universalized tariffs that have caused trade wars that literally destroy export industries in our country. Like, again, what I wanted to reference is I grew up in Iowa, and soybeans is a huge industry in Iowa in terms of the growing of soybeans. It's like soybeans and corn. Those are like the main crops that are grown in Iowa. And when Trump imposes tariffs on China and China imposes tariffs back on us, that means that our soybean products are going to be less demanded in their country. So our soybean industry took a massive hit because of the fact that we have less soybeans that we're selling now to China than what we were previously by millions and millions and millions of. I think I have to check back the categorization of it, but I forget the categorization of beans. But it's by a lot. There's a huge distinction. It's almost, I think, half is what they were taking from what they were around last year. It's bushels. That's what I thought it was.